to tonight's conversation where I, by myself, no Chris and I, will be sharing with you some stuff that I have seen amazing things happen with. And really, we're going to kind of get right into it. So what I invite you to do now is get some water. I have two things. I'll probably go through a lot while I'm sitting here while we're chatting. So, and you'll hear me say, take a water drink because I'll drink multiple, probably 5 or 10 times during this conversation. Like right now, we'll have some too. So I'm really enthusiastic about sharing this information with you. Feel free to message me with whatever questions you have. And really what I invite you to do right now is to have an open mind. Think about our minds are like parachutes and they work best when they're open. I'm going to present to you some amazing information that maybe some stuff you've heard of, and a lot of it maybe nothing you've ever heard of, and it may be completely logical, which is the great thing about it, and it's grocery store practicality. So body language stuff, we may get into some of that too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to work and have some fun. So let me plug some slides in real quick. And we should be rolling. So first term of the night. Have you heard of the term iatrogenesis? If you have, that's amazing. Like, to kind of give you an idea, I've been in the health field for 30 years. I'm 37 years young currently, and I started when I was 7 years old. And I did not hear this term until 2 years ago when we were actually going through our Institute of Integrative Nutrition. We'll actually get into what it actually means here in a little bit. Our promise, my promise to you tonight specifically, is by the end of this training, you will know more than 99% of all Western medicine doctors on the healing power of grocery store foods. Bold statement. I invite you to be fully present with me right now. Turn off your phones, close your Facebook, go where it's quiet, get some water, and I encourage you to take notes. And honestly, really listen to what it is that I'm going to share with you right now, because this is an actual fact. Okay, today is all we have. Like right now, you and I, this is the only moment that we have. Yesterday will never happen again, and tomorrow may never come. So what I invite you to do right now is to give yourself the gift. You've chose to invest time with me, and this is probably one of the best investments of time that you could do because of the information that I'm going to share with you, so you can use, implement, execute into your life and into your family's life. And you're going to see by some of the testimonials on our presentation tonight of what's available to you if you listen to what I'm saying and choose to take it to heart and execute it. So do something now that you will thank yourself for tomorrow or even down the road. Here we go. If you stay till the end, we're actually going to do something really special for you. You may have heard me offer this up, but we're actually going to give you a free 20-minute consultation. And you may say, you know what, Brian, 20 minutes is nothing. Well, let me tell you this. I did a radio interview for a Detox Your Life Summit with my friend Brita Aragon, and I actually extended a 20-minute consultation to anybody that decided to call and fill out an application. Well, long story short, I had a call with a lady yesterday for 20 minutes. She had asthma for 20 years. She's had massive right knee pains for 20 years. And I'm no genius. I've just been blessed with some amazing information, and I just show up and allow God to do what he does through me. And guess what happened? And 14 minutes into that conversation, we completely eliminated her asthma and completely eliminated her knee pain. And it's only because I understand some things about the body and how it works emotionally that most people don't. So I'm inviting you to consider that this could be an option that could actually save your life. So I would invite you to not take that 20 minutes lightly, because we charge people sometimes, depending upon what we're doing and what information we're sharing, anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 an hour, because of the information that we're able to help people and support them with to make a dramatic difference right now, which is the only time we got. So here's a little video. You may have seen this video, but this is going to be kind of what we're going to discuss tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Good morning, this is Brian Johnson, and I'm back in beautiful Austin, Texas, and I'm actually doing my favorite pastime, which is at the grocery store, and I'm just choosing to take a minute to share with you what I'm grabbing for my smoothie this morning. So,
Oops. Hold on a sec. Let me pull those back up. Hold on. Had a user malfunction. Here we go. Hold on. Hang on a sec. All right, let's try this again.
Good morning, this is Brian Johnson, and I'm back in beautiful Austin, Texas, and I'm actually doing my favorite pastime, which is at the grocery store, and I'm just choosing to take a minute to share with you what I'm grabbing for my smoothie this morning. So, Swiss chard. This is the valedictorian of vegetables because of the vitamin and mineral content. And they actually have some stuff called syringic acid in it, which is great for type 1 diabetics because it helps to balance out the blood sugars. You can see the dense colors and the different veins and the nutrients that are in there. It's very high in calcium, very high in magnesium. Great for diabetics, one. Next one, carrots. These are actually really good in the sense that you see how orange they are. They're very high in beta carotene, which is great for your lungs and your eyes. Also higher in sugar content. So if you are a diabetic, you definitely don't want to juice these. You want to make sure that you use them in a blender so that you're getting all the fibers to slow down the sugar absorption. Bam. Broccoli. Very high in I3Cs, which is endocannabinol, great for cancer and reversing those type of situations. Any estrogen-based cancers, this is very high in DEM, which is amazing for you. And you know where most of the nutrients are found? Not in the top, but actually in the stem, which is called glucoraphanin. So when you cook this stuff, don't throw away the stem. That's very important. Next one, beets. Beets beat disease, very high in betaine, which is great for helping with heart situations. Also has some stuff called uridine in it, which helps with depression. Make sure you can also, too, just make sure you wash them very well, but you can use the stems because there's a lot of nutrients in there. Beets also have a significant amount of sugar, so you want to make sure that you use them completely, like with blended versus juicing. They're also great for helping to reverse anemia. If you do have anemia, you want to make sure that you use the kiwi or something that has high in vitamin C to help with bringing in the iron in the body so your body will actually absorb it. The next cool one is the yellow beet. This one actually has very high in zeaxanthins, which are great for your eyes. So anytime you have that orange color, you can bet that those are good for your eyes and good for your lungs. The red is good for your blood right there. So you have stuff flying everywhere. The red beets right there. The carrots we talked about with the lungs. And then you've also got cucumber. Bam, second highest source of silica. So females who have osteoporosis situations, you're looking to increase your bone density, very good. Most of the nutrients are found in the skin. So you want to make sure that you get an organic cucumber so that you're not shaving all of it off. It also is your most alkaline vegetable. So for water content, boosting your hydration, very effective. Also great for balancing out blood sugar. So if you have blood sugar issues, this is something you want to add in your diet. So when I say diet, I don't mean like in the sense of where diet's a better term for lifestyle eating. So hopefully this information was something that can help you out. And remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. Have an awesome day.
Awesome. I apologize about the mix-up on the slideshow. Technical issues is never my good one, but here we go. So here we are. So what we're going to talk about now is the current state, and you're accurate. That says 2013, and yes, I am very aware that it's 2015. The only issue is that that's the most current statistics that we have. The CDC is behind in multiple areas, but specifically on their availability of accurate information and up to date. So here are some statistics right now to let you know kind of where we're at. Okay, heart disease is your #1 killer, 611,000 deaths. Cancer, 584,000 deaths. Chronic lower respiratory diseases, 149,000. Stroke, 128, almost 129,000. Alzheimer's disease, almost 85,000. Diabetes, 75,000. And honestly, that is completely an unnecessary dis-ease that is easily reversed with the right information, of which we will discuss tonight. Influenza and pneumonia, almost 57,000 people die from that. And the flu shot, wow, that does nothing for you but make your immune system worse and pump you full of nice bacteria. So I would encourage you to not do those. And with the information I will share with you tonight, you will not need to. I have not been to the doctor since I was 13. I have a hormone doctor that does all my hormone levels and blood levels and things like that. I have a homeopathic doctor that I go to, but I don't go to it because I'm sick. I go to maximize my health to keep me in line and make sure everything's functioning appropriately. But as far as me getting sick, I don't. Even when I'm around people with the flu, with all kinds of crazy stuff, when people in my house come home with it, I don't get sick. A lot of what I'm going to share with you tonight, you can use in your life to have the same experience. So death by modern medicine, 2013 numbers, 2.2 million adverse drug reactions, 20 million prescribed antibiotics for viral infections, 7.5 million unnecessary surgical procedures. In my opinion, we are born with all of our limbs and with all of our organs, and I think you should leave the planet with them as much as possible. Okay, 783,000 deaths due to modern medicine. It's the #1 cause of death. 350,000 deaths per year are linked to overweight and obesity. An estimated 220 to 448,000 deaths from preventable medical errors. So you remember that term iatrogenesis on the very first part of the screen or the slideshow? That's what iatrogenesis stands for. It's preventable deaths that happen through medical errors. It's a lot. And you don't hear it under medical errors or issues. You hear it under the term, hidden term, under iatrogenesis, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so that's that information right there. Now, let's talk about some facts that you deserve to know. The history of modern medicine is only from the 1920s to current date. Okay, here's some interesting stuff. The med kits during the Civil War had only homeopathic remedies and ointments and things in there. There was no medicines. There was no penicillin or any type of things like that that are available now. You can see these remedies in the Civil War museums in the med kits. Dr. Robert Scoll Bell is actually the person who pulled all this information up and actually talks about this. Really interesting information. Currently, we have $2.7 trillion in symptom management. Okay, management, not reversal and elimination. Management. The medical system does not make money by curing your illnesses. In 1926, cancer was the 10th cause of death in our children. Today, it is the #1 cause of death, even before accidents. By 2020, medical system treatments will be responsible for 50% of all cancers, which is kind of scary due to the treatments. I mean, if you find someone or know someone in your life that has had chemo, on the medications themselves that you're taking to get rid of cancers, it says may cause cancer. I don't know about you, but that seems completely illogical to me, and I'll just choose the vegetable route myself. So this is an interesting poll. 86% of all doctors will not use chemo, radiation, or surgery, known as the big three, if they were to come down with cancer. I don't know about you, but I find that kind of interesting. Here's some more facts you deserve to know. Chemo has only a 2.1% survival rate from stage 4 cancer. 74 billion pounds of toxins are being produced by the U.S. alone each year. We are breathing these in our water, in our air, in our vegetables, and things that are all the chemicals are landing on the runoff water. On average, we have 212 industrial chemicals found in our body. Average person urinates out 7 pesticides each time. A study done on infants testing blood levels at the umbilical cord found 287 toxic chemicals, of which 208 were carcinogenic. Now, you may say, like, man, Brian, how is that possible? Well, let's talk about it. If you're talking about mom, we'll say, has been on the planet for, we'll just say 20 years old, between 20 and 30. That's how old she is when she's having her baby. Think about all the foods that have been eaten that have got plastics, pesticides, that have got all kinds of chemicals in them. Think about all the air that we breathe. Think about the water that we get that's not clean. Think about the environmental toxins, emotional stress. Think about all of the things that come into contact with us as humans and how it just passes through our babies. Very possible, okay? Plastics are the #1 main causes of breast cancer and prostate cancer due to xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens are thousands times stronger than estrogen by themselves, which is very, very not so good, okay? That's what plastics are. 95% of breast cancer have dental involvement. meaning chemicals that leach directly into your bloodstream. For example, mercury fillings is a big deal. Take a sip. I have had clients that have had mercury fillings that have slowly start to deteriorate neurologically and starting to have fibromyalgia and pain because these chemicals attack your nervous system and the myelin sheath around our nerves, so that makes them extremely sensitive and painful. Okay, but here's the deal: it's not your fault. Because I'll be honest with you, you've probably watched the news lately. You've probably watched a little bit of TV. And how many questions, or rather, how many commercials have you seen advocating vegetables? And on the other hand, how many commercials have you seen advocating pills and doctors and quick fix programs and situations that just aren't accurate? Well, that's the reason why it's not your fault, because we have been branded consciously and subconsciously to understand that the medical system is the only way to go. And I'm here to invite you to consider there is another option. And here are some myths that you may be functioning off of right now. Eating past 6 p.m. makes me fat. It's false. Low fat and no fat diets are good for you. That's false. I actually, 40% of my diet comes from fats, and I feel amazing. Okay. Skipping meals helps you lose weight. That is false. Medication is the only way to fight disease. That is false. A doctor is the only place to go for your health. That is false. Fat-free equals sugar-free. That is false. All sugars are created equal. Definitely false. There's a massive difference between a Coca-Cola and a carrot. Okay, you can lose up to 20 pounds of fat in 7 days. That is false. And for your information, 1 pound of fat contains 3,500 calories. Okay. Number 9, you can outwork your diet. I always tell my clients, abs are made in the kitchen. And if you have a half-assed diet, you will get half-assed results every time. And just so you know, I have someone that helps me with my nutrition program, and I am a professional. This is what I do for my living. This is what takes care of my family, and this is how I support people in my journey in life. And I have someone that helps me with mine, if that goes to tell you anything. So it's not your fault. I mean, have you tried 20 different diets and the weight won't come or stay off? It's all right. It's all about finding the right sequence and the right combination of protein, fats, and carbs for your body and where you're functioning at. And if you have some emotional things that are going on, some grief, some sadness, some resentment, some anger, all of those will affect how your body functions, from your thyroid to your pancreas, which definitely affects how your metabolism runs and how you process sugars or don't. All of it comes into play. Have you been taking medications and wasting your money and polluting your body for multiple years with no noticeable differences in how you feel? And on top of that, having to take more medications to balance the counter effects from the medications. It's crazy. Are you trying to maximize your life in every area right now and having issues balancing it out? We work with a lot of high-level thinkers and moms and dads and entrepreneurs and people with illnesses. And what we found is that a lot of times they're really successful in one area, but they can't balance out their lifestyle, or they can't balance out their family life, or they don't love themselves, so they can't show up fully and connect with their wife or with their husband or with their teammates or with their business partners. All of this stuff is things that we discuss. And to understand, we are just like you. Matter of fact, in those pictures were probably worse than probably where some of you are at. So that's Chris on the left-hand side. Chris has never really been fat, so he doesn't understand when we have fat conversations. Now, I, on the other hand, have been bigger than that picture a couple of times. I've been 263 different times. So a lot of people always say, well, Brian, you don't know what it's like to be fat. I've been fat. I know exactly what it's like to be fat. I know the vicious cycle when all I want to do is eat more food that puts me in the exact same situation and creates the same crap over and over again. I also know what it takes to break through all of that and get into your best shape ever. Okay? So I can support you specifically, understanding where you're at and why you think the way that you do and why your body is sabotaging yourself. We can help you with this, and understand we have been through the trenches. The good news is that 90% of these deaths and symptoms are totally preventable by lifestyle choices. And the thing that Chris and I focus on is we focus on air, water, food, and consciousness as our tools by which we educate and share information. Because here's the thing. You're going to die without air first. Water is going to be second. Food's going to be third, and your thoughts will be number 4, potentially number 1, because a bad thought will kill you a lot faster than a bad germ. On that note, have a sip. I love water. I'm grateful for my water. So here's a little bit about Chris and I. I'm not going to go through all these, but just so you can kind of get an idea of where we've been. I myself have over 21 some odd different certifications, and just some of them that you may be familiar with is the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. Got about 7 of them through National Academy of Sports Medicine, a few through Baylor. Conquering Any Disease, which is where you'll hear a lot of the information from tonight on food healing, mastery systems, on body language and conscious languaging, and being able to identify what language and patterns of self-sabotage and what itches and scratches mean, and what illnesses that show up in our body, how they reflect emotionally, and how to work them out consciously first, because we break down energetically or spiritually before we do physically. Some of the stuff on the right-hand side, some of our former coaches, millionaire speaker James Malinchak, and then you've got my man Jonathan Sprinkles down there on the bottom, and then you got Ted McGrath. Just a few of them, but just to kind of give you an idea of where we're coming from. You can definitely go to our website at Think Great Lose Weight and find out a lot more about us, and feel free to check us out. I think it's vastly important that you do your due diligence on who you're getting information from, because there is a lot of it out there. Chris and I both have invested our whole lives in being students of this and trying to master it at the same time. So we are very, very keen on getting top level information so that we can serve you with the best. So on the left-hand side right there, that's my friend Jonathan Sprinkles. He's known as America's Connection Coach. Man, that guy's amazing. He used to run a spot on the Houston News for quite some time. He's on Dr. Phil's show, Oprah. He's an amazing individual, but that's one of the guys that I coach when he's on the road. I teach him how to eat. I help his staff so we can help him stay tip-top. That top picture up there is where Chris and I are at Life Austin. We've done a lot of Christian-based speaking at multiple churches and things that we're involved with, and that's one of the places where we were doing some work. And if you look in that picture, look in the back of it, you see that heart-shaped pizza and you see that red velvet cupcake? That's right. That is my favorite foods. And if you ever read my bio on my page, if you go to Think Great Lose Weight, you will see the first thing that it says is, my name is Brian Johnson, and I love cupcakes and pizza. And I do. And it's important for you to understand that you can still have those, just understanding how to implement them. That top right-hand picture up there is Chris over at Monsanto. That is actually this weekend. He'll be speaking down at the Capitol here in Austin about GMOs and on Monsanto. This will be his 3rd year. He's been invited to come out and speak. So it's just amazing. We are heavily involved in giving public talks and education at schools. That's a Veda right there. We get to go down there a couple times a year down there in the middle screen. That bottom picture on the bottom is out in the middle of the Cancun jungle. At the beginning of this year, I was out there for 8 days in the middle of nowhere with no phone, no nothing. I was out there with chickens, turkeys, monkeys, all kinds of stuff, doing work with my coaches. Like, we put ourselves in some pretty crazy positions so that we can constantly challenge ourselves and push ourselves to new limits, so we understand what we're functioning off of and what belief systems are holding us back, so we can show up fully for you no matter what you've gone through and where you're at. We are capable to support you because this is what we do for our life. So understand, you probably saw a lot of cool stuff before, and understand we are not perfect and we have done a lot of things wrong. We actually had a gym for a while. We used to do a lot of public education at the state buildings here in Austin, and people wanted to start coming to work out with us, and we weren't working out. We were just doing educational stuff. So we decided, all right, well, let's get a gym and start training people. And we realized that it didn't matter what we would do from a training aspect, that people would not hit results because they weren't adjusting their mindsets. They weren't breaking through the emotional patterns of, dad did this to me or mom did this to me and I'm a failure and I'm not worth it and I don't love myself and I've got anger and resentment and unforgiveness towards dad, mom, towards my former husband, whatever. All of this stuff is what keeps people from moving forward. I don't care how much you work out. If your body knows you don't love yourself and you are not connected emotionally, your body is not going to do anything. I don't care how good your nutrition is. That's how crazy it is. We have to be perfectly aligned, loving ourselves and forgiving ourselves day to day, because there's things that are going to pop up that we get to forgive. If not, your body's like, I'm not moving. Okay. And the cool thing about this is that we discovered this the hard way. You get the option of having it the easy way. So after 40 years of combined experience, over 15,000 case studies, We found the formula for your health and vitality, and that's what we're going to talk about. So here's what I want you to do. Get you a drink first and get some go-go juice in your brain. And what I desire for you to do is give yourself permission to imagine. Think about when you had the most energy you've ever had in your life, what it felt like, what you were able to do, how you were able to conquer your tasks, and how you were able to show up for your family and your relationships or your sports and your recreations and your business. Think about that. It's possible for you to have all that. Think about wearing the clothes you wore at your best. I don't know about you, but I've had clothes as high as 40-inch waist all the way down to 28s. I'm shrinking back down to 28s now. So I can tell you that it is possible for you to regain everything that you think you've lost, that you don't think you can get back. It just takes the right support with the right information, the right coaching, weekly accountability so that you can adjust when you're off your mark. Imagine enjoying your life waking up pain-free. Now, I've been blessed to have some injuries that weren't really too critical. I pulled a groin about a month ago in jiu-jitsu, and I can tell you that you don't really appreciate your full health until you have something that starts hurting and you realize how much you use it, like your thumb, crazy enough, or your toe. But just imagine for a moment that if you woke up pain-free, what would be different in your life? What would you do differently? How would you react? What sports things would you do? What kind of workouts would you do? What kind of vacations would you go on? How would you plan your day? How much money would it save you in medications? All this is possible. Imagine that your relationships are more connected than ever before. And I can tell you this, in my personal opinion, relationships is our most important asset on the planet. And when our relationships are broken, it's because we are broken. And I speak from experience. I was suicidal in my 20s. And for 10 years, I thought that I loved myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just feedback. But what I noticed is that when I started getting happy in a relationship or at my job or my career at the time, I would start noticing that I would start having sabotage thoughts. I would start eating foods. I would start doing things I wouldn't normally do, having thoughts I wouldn't normally have. And what happened was I hit an upper limits issue. The only problem / challenge that we have in life is not our problem. It's our upper limits, meaning how good can we stand our life before we start sabotaging and think, oh man, I can't handle that kind of money, or I can't handle that kind of health. What's it going to do? If you've never gotten there and you don't love yourself and you haven't forgiven yourself of certain things, you are going to sabotage yourself without fail. You may already be experiencing that now. Speaking from personal experience, I have done that many times until I figured out why I was doing that and was able to love it, forgive it, and move forward and do a lot of work consciously to adjust that. Okay. Imagine that you no longer require wasting money on medications where foods can reverse your symptoms. I don't know about you. You're going to hear about some people, some of our clients tonight, and I'm baffled. Like what I have seen foods do for people is utterly amazing. In such a short amount of time, it's mind-boggling. And without me talking any further about it, we'll get into it and let you check out and listen to a couple people. So here's a disclaimer. Chris and I are not doctors. We highly encourage you. I have an amazing doc here in town. If you would like his information, message me. I'll gladly connect you with him. He is amazing. Both times I went to him, I felt 60% better each time. That's how awesome he was. And I feel great all the time. And that's all relative, because if you would have asked me 4 years ago if I would have felt good, I would have said, man, I feel amazing. I feel 100-fold better now than I did then. So it's all relative to where you're at. Okay. What we do is we invite you to check out with your physician before you implement or execute anything that we talk about. Get some, I say advice, or rather an opinion. And ultimately, you are responsible for your health and no one else. So do what works best for you. Okay. Here's the process. 7 big steps to freedom in your health. Number 1, it's all about understanding your proteins, your carbs, and your fats for your body. Very simple. You can go out of town, and if you understand, hey, this is how much I need to be eating at a restaurant, you can stay in shape and get in great shape no matter what. And you can still have a reward meal and still screw up a couple of times and still be on top. Understanding your micros, which is your vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and phytonutrients, which are plant-based nutrients, which are vital for your health. Learning the 7 best dietary theories and why. We're going to talk about digestive flora, immune system, and immune boosting, all from the grocery store. We're going to talk about symptom reversing foods and getting off of meds. We're going to talk about the power of blending versus juicing. We're going to talk about goals and accountability, because less than 3% of the population has written goals. And if you don't have written goals, it's okay. I love you. We're going to go through all that stuff in a program we're going to discuss. Okay. So step one, macros. What do I really need to know to manipulate or change my body composition? You need to understand proteins, how much, what kinds, chicken, fish, turkey, beef, vegetarian, vegan, whatever. Carbohydrates. Do I need fruits? Do I need sweet potatoes, black beans? Do I need to stay off of those and do vegetable carbs? All this stuff is we're going to help you figure it out. Fats. Fats are extremely good for you. Real butter, coconut oil, olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, macadamia nuts, all of these, and all of them have different functions. Okay, we're going to talk about the importance of breakfast. Breakfast is the most important part of your day. That's like topping your car off before you get ready to drive out of town. Extremely important. Most people will skip breakfast and have one meal throughout the day, and it's amazing how they function. I can tell you this, you do not want to be around me if I have missed a meal. I will call time out and say, hey, I love you. I need to eat before we have any more conversation. Take a sip. Yes. Okay, so this is my client, Russell. And obviously, he's pretty vastly different shape right there. Now, here's the thing. We got Russell from 23% down to 11% 2 times. And guess what happened? He sabotaged himself all the way back up to 22% both times. Okay, and what happened was there were some things functioning internally. I don't love myself. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. And it showed up by the actions that he started to create because of these thoughts coming up in his head that he was unable to check and unable to forgive and to love exactly where it's at. Finally, we got him doing affirmations. I held him strictly accountable to certain things, and he made an amazing difference. And he's still holding this shape now. So let's talk about step 2, micros. Vitamins, minerals, enzymes are the key to truly being healthy. Minerals, I encourage you, this is a rider downer. If you're not taking minerals, I highly encourage you to get some because they are vastly important. Colloidal minerals specifically are plant-based minerals, okay? Enzymes are amazing. Enzymes help to break down our foods, but they also, if you take enzymes in between your meals, they will help to repair our proteins in our body. Talk about managing blood sugars, extremely important when you're talking dropping body fat and being healthy. Hormones, how to balance them, how to understand when they're not balancing out. Fighting dis-ease and how to be indestructible in your health. How to boost your metabolism and how to work on motor function, which is all of your nerves and all of that fun stuff, because there's a lot of things. There's an interesting statistic that by the time we turn 50 years old, we lose over half of our balance. And if you also notice that during that time, 60s to 70s is when you've noticed a lot of our grandparents or moms and dads potentially falling and cracking their hips. And when that happens, life is never the same. It's all about prevention now, so that way you can be healthy as you age. My client, Carol Martin, this is an amazing story. We'll keep it short. She's 73 currently. She came up with asthma when she was 20 years old, okay? She had to stop playing tennis, which is what her profession was and what her passion was. She literally moved to Arizona, had to try out different climates so she could breathe. She had 2 respiration issues where she almost lost her life and had to have CPR. She had multiple professionals from all around the world to look at her. And the best thing they could do was manage it through medicines and through bronchodilators and things like that. And what I'm about to share with you, I'm going to give you the secret. So get your pen out. Okay. If you're experiencing allergy issues or you're experiencing breathing issues and you're not allergic to these, I highly encourage you to try this. Okay. I'm going to tell you about the story first. So the first day Carol came to me, so when I was training clients still, we met at the gym. We started working out. Literally every minute, we took a break for a minute. Work out for 20 seconds, took a break for a minute. Work out for 20 seconds, took a break for a minute. Work out for 20 seconds, took a break for a minute because she couldn't breathe. We did this for an hour. So at the end, I said, hey, Carol, I said, let's try something out. I said, let's try 2 kiwis tomorrow. One throughout the day, one for sure before you come in. And let's try 2,000 milligrams of fish oil, DHA and EPA blend. Well, she came back the next day and we started working out and we kept working out and we kept working out and we kept working out. We got all the way through the session and I was literally baffled. I was like, Carol, what exactly did you do? Did you take your inhaler today? She's like, no, I did the kiwis and the fish oils like you said, and I can breathe amazing. I have never felt like this. I've invested 20, 40 years I spent medicating myself and depriving myself of life's experiences and not being able to go on vacations where I had to walk a lot and stop playing tennis because I couldn't breathe. And my doctors never told me about kiwis and fish oils. How is that? Well, doctors have a minimal of 6% of graduating physicians have a minimal of 3 hours of nutritional education. And I'll be honest with you, I have 2 of the top GI docs in Texas that are my clients. And of course, you know me, I like to ask questions. So I asked my client, I was like, Chad, I was like, hey, bud, I was like, how much of an impact do you think that our food has on our autoimmune disorders and the diseases and illnesses that pop up in our body? And he looked at me with a stone look on his face and he says, man, I don't think it has anything to do with that. And I was baffled. I was like, to me, it just does not make logical sense to think that whatever you put in your body's going to assimilate that, and it's either going to help your body or it's going to tear down your body. That to me is just like understanding there would be no different of putting sugar gasoline in your car and expecting your car to run. It doesn't work like that. And it's amazing how a lot of them are brainwashed to think that these things are not going to affect. But anyways, step 3, we're going to talk about some dietary theories. And these are the best ones that we have found that are really balanced and offer a great blend of nutrients. So for one, the Mediterranean diet. Lowest incidences of heart disease on the planet, and it is very high in fat. Okay. South Beach diet, very balanced. Actually, a very good diet. The Zone diet is another one. Barry Sears, that's an amazing one. Then you have the Atkins diet, and I'm not talking about the old Atkins where you're eating pig grease and bacons and all that. I'm talking about eating avocados. I'm talking about eating olive oil. I'm talking about eating nuts and seeds and coconut oil and raw butter, that kind of stuff. The Atkins diet done right with vegetables and small amounts of good carbohydrates and great fats is amazing for reversing heart disease, diabetes, getting your body fat low. It's all about adjusting it specifically for you. 80-20 and 90-10 is just a ratio of eating 80% good and 20% bad, or 90% good and 10% bad. Depending upon when I'm on the road, it's probably like an 80-20 for me. Sometimes it's 90-10. Raw food eating is amazing at how well your body will respond and come to life because you're eating raw, live nutrients. And then you also have the blood type diet, which we believe has a lot of clout, a lot of research done on it. Back to ancestry and genetic typing and how certain foods don't mingle well with certain types of genes. Like for me, milk doesn't do me well. Cheeses don't do me well. I do certain types of almond cheese and things like that, and coconut milk and almond milk and things like that to fill my gap. But I grew up drinking a gallon of milk a day, and I used to have to take allergy shots every week, and they could never figure out why I was so stopped up. Interesting. Milk is one of your top allergens, in case you're understanding. Let's go ahead and get a sip. If you're doing milk now and you are under the influence that milk is going to support your bones, you have been lied to. Milk is very acidic, especially pasteurized milk. Commercial grade milk that is grain-fed cows is highly acidic. Raw milk fed with grass is different. Commercial milk you get from the store is not good. Very acidic, meaning when you drink it, your body has to balance out the acidity. So it's going to pull calcium from your bones, your joints, and your teeth to support neutralizing the acidity. I highly encourage you today and invite you to try coconut milk, unsweetened. Sugar-free is good. I like the vanilla, or almond milk. They're both amazing. Step 4, immune system. We're going to talk about the foods, environment, your digestive flora. Did you know that we have 4 pounds of gut bacteria? How awesome is that? And And it's important. Our gut bacteria is where 85% of our immune system is located. And if your gut is not functioning appropriately, that's exactly where we get to start balancing some things out. That's where a lot of food allergies happen. And that's where a lot of illnesses and diseases start, especially emotional. Emotional withholding. When people are constipated, there are some emotional things going on where they have not let go. No pun intended. It's actual truth. Fighting cancers, very important when you're doing immune system to boost the immune system through the digestive tract. And then you've got genetically modified foods or organisms, which we'll talk a lot about those two in our program. So my client, Lily, I have a few clients that are avid, I call them crazies, running 50 and 100-mile races and Ironmans and things like that. And I work with a few of them to tweak their nutrition out. And she dropped from 31% body fat to 22% body fat in 17 days, which is a massive adjustment. So now let's talk about some symptom reversal foods. The top picture over on the left-hand side is the acai berry. That is your top antioxidant food. It actually creates apoptosis, which is known to cause cancer and cell suicides. And so, when our immune system is functioning appropriately and when cells are functioning appropriately, cells will automatically kill themselves when they get to start being bad cells. That's called apoptosis. Well, a lot of them, when they're cancerous, don't do that. They keep accumulating and growing and growing and growing. And that's where you start to get tumors, and then you start to get spreading, okay? Now, you heard me talk about mercury a little while ago. This little green plant right here, that is cilantro. When we have mercury issues, that is your number one detoxifier that pulls mercury out of our body and heavy metals. That next mushroom over there is called the agaricus mushroom. It's the most potent mushroom for AIDS and cancer. Okay. The avocado is amazing. That is a living fat. It's actually a fruit. And did you know that you can eat the avocado seed? My teacher, Jeff Primack, makes a hollandaise sauce with it, but he also blends it up in his blender, and it's great for heart disease. That is the top food to reverse heart disease because the soluble fiber is all in the seed. When you grind it up like fairy dust, you can drink it, and it literally pulls all the plaque out of the arteries, so you open up your blood vessels. Awesome. Down there on the bottom on the right, you've got the beet. The beet beats disease. You see how red it is? That can increase your oxygen uptake up to 400%. It's got some stuff called uridine in it that is amazingly potent for helping with depression. It also helps with homocysteine. It has some stuff called betaine in it, which helps to balance out homocysteine, which is what one of the markers for when you go and check for heart disease. They check for homocysteine levels in your blood. It's also one of the top foods for anemia. Okay, so if you're anemic, you require beets, eating them raw. That awesome looking flower right there is an echinacea flower. That can boost your immune system up to 500%. The walnut over there, if you notice and you look at it, that's not really that great of a picture, but it kind of looks like a brain. That is a brain food specifically. Very high in ALA, which is a blood thinner. It's also high in arginine, which is a vasodilator. So it helps with erectile dysfunctions, helps with blood disorders, and helps to open up the blood vessels so you get more oxygen and nutrients to your body, to your brain, and to all to your cells. Coconut, amazing. I have probably 60 grams of coconut fat a day. If you have diarrhea, taking coconut shavings and saute them in coconut oil will dramatically stop your diarrhea and dramatically boost your immune system count to take care of viral scenarios, flu, viruses, MRSA, all of that. I use it in HIV/AIDS protocols for some of my clients, and they have non-detectable levels. And then you have the almighty bee. The bee is amazing. When you see one, don't kill it. They're responsible for pollinating and helping our flowers, plants, trees, vegetables, everything grow. And they're really getting under a lot of scrutiny right now, and there are a lot of them being killed, which is not good. Honey is amazing. Bee pollen is amazing for B vitamins. It's great for people who have chronic fatigue, putting them in your smoothies. And if you have allergens, get local bee honey. It has very small trace amounts of allergens in them, so your body and your immune system can slowly build up some tolerance so that it doesn't wipe you out. Okay. Step 5, we're going to talk about symptom reversal foods. We'll talk about hundreds of foods in our programs for all types of symptoms and diseases. We're going to specifically talk about things for diabetes, obesity, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol, autoimmune disease, colds, flu, viruses, bacteria and parasites, arthritis, which is also representative of anger, which we'll talk more about, and many more. Step 6, we're going to talk about juicing and blending. Okay, there are benefits to both. There are massive benefits to blending because of the fibers that you get, which we'll discuss all of those. Step 7, goals and priorities, accountability. What are your priorities? Do you have any goals written down specifically of what you're looking to accomplish? If you don't, it's okay. Like I said, only 3% of people on the planet do. I didn't have mine written down until 4 years ago. And I can tell you, when I started writing them down, it made an amazing difference on what showed up in my life. And I had something to hold me accountable to. Accountability is amazing. If you don't have it, you require some in order to be your best. There's no way you can do it on your own. I have 6 to 7 coaches at a time right now for different things that I do. So here's the old model of thinking. Let's get a sip. Old model of thinking is only trusting your health to your doctor and not adjusting your lifestyle choices, taking medications to manage your symptoms, trying fad diets, crash dieting. I've done all of those. Or fasting to lose weight, which doesn't happen. Buying expensive supplements and diet pills and not working on your diet. Viewing life's obstacles as hard and too much work and stressful. Now, I invite you to consider this. The new model. You can actually take full responsibility right now for your health and well-being in future. You can learn how proteins, carbs, and fats impact your body composition and your life, your mental capacity, your energy, your sex drive, your hormones, your digestive function, how you sleep, how you show up, and how you work with stress or don't work with stress. All this can be adjusted with your foods. You can learn about the power of grocery store foods and not expensive supplements. Life is a choice, and you can totally choose to make it fun and easy, and you probably even heard me say that before. I say that a lot. I choose to make this fun and easy. Okay, here's Chef Johnny Carino. You may have seen these little logos over here, but that's actually one of Chris's clients.
Hi, folks. This is Chef Johnny Carino speaking to you from my home here in Atlanta about Chris Denver. I just need to tell you, for the last 3-4 years or so, I have struggled with my very own health issues. I am an expert in the restaurant industry. I'm a great chef. When it comes to health, sometimes you need to reach out to other people. That's why I reach out and I trust Chris to help me with my plans on eating, being healthy, and ways to beat my diabetes. Chris is A1 in my book.
Chef Johnny Carino has a few health challenges, and Chris has been able to help him out. So here's where we're at. And here's what I'm inviting you to do is I'm inviting you to join us on a little 6-week journey. And here's what it looks like. Here's what you'll get. You're going to get 6 live online trainings all about nutrition, mindset, and symptom reversal foods, which we value at $697. You'll have access to the recordings if you miss the live sessions. You'll also receive our healthy eating digital recipe book at a $60 value. And I don't know about you, but eating, if you don't have any recipes or things to jog your mind to what's available with health foods, it can drive you nuts thinking you sit there and eat tuna fish, and that's not the case. I have not eaten tuna fish in quite some time unless it's sushi. So there's a lot of stuff available to you in the form of healthy food that tastes amazing, okay? If we were to offer you that at that price, your total investment would be $757. We've got some better stuff for you yet, so hang on. So here's what you get for bonus number 1. We're actually going to allow you and put you into our community where we have a secret Facebook group for our community where you can ask questions. You can get community support by like-minded individuals. We post tons of exclusive videos and content, and we also communicate with our group on a daily basis. So you have access to us firsthand to help answer questions. Okay, here's what you get. 6 live online trainings where we're going to discuss nutrition, specifically how to support you setting your stuff up. Mindset, what mindset you're going to need, how to understand words of self-sabotage and where you may be sabotaging yourself, okay? Symptom reversal foods and creating a nutrition program for life, $697 value. You have access to the recordings if you miss it. You also receive our digital cookbook, and you're going to receive 2 months free access to our closed paid membership site, Think Great Nutrition, at an $80 value. That's an $837 investment. Now, we've got a couple more bonuses for you. So here's what you get. This bonus here is only for the first 10 people. We're going to give you 2 custom smoothie recipes tailored to what you desire. What's going on with your symptoms? We will create them, video them, and shoot them to you just for you. This is only for the first 10 people. Okay, so here's what you get on a recap. 6 live trainings like we discussed already at a $697 value. Access to the recordings. You get our healthy eating digital book for 60 bucks. You'll also receive our 2 months free access to our closed paid membership site where we post exclusive content. That's an $80 value. And you'll receive 2 smoothie recipes that are custom for you at a $200 value, which will bring your total investment to $1,037. We have some more stuff though. Bonus number 3, free consultation. Now, you heard me talk about the 20-minute consultation that I had yesterday that we literally, God was able to bless this young lady through me, and we changed her life in 14 minutes that she had been holding on to stuff for 20 years. Okay. So there's pictures of Chris and I. We both got in shape, out of shape to in shape. And this is one of Chris's female clients that she was doing a show. So typically, like I said, we would charge people $1,000 an hour. We're giving you a 30-minute consultation for free. This is only for the first 5 people. That's a $500 value. You can ask whatever you want. Nothing is off limits. Here's one of our clients I think you should take a gander at real quick because she has an amazing story to kind of show you what's available.
Hi, my name is Violet. I choose to take a few minutes and talk to you about my experience with reaching out to Brian. About 6 months ago, I contacted Brian. I just had some questions about nutrition, different things I could change up just to start feeling better. And we also talked about different medications also at the time. He mentioned foods that specifically to do the same thing as what the medications were doing, except naturally. And so along with that and, the other list of things that, he said, to try, I started doing that immediately. And after about a month, I started to wean myself off of one of my medications. And then after I got off that one, I started weaning myself off another medication. And after 3 months, I had gotten off of 5 medications. Some of these medications I was on for 30 years, some I was on for 15 years, and some I was on for 10 years. And so these are things that I thought I was going to have to take for the rest of my life. Before that conversation with Brian, I didn't even realize that there was another option. And it's been 6 months since, I talked to him about these, specific things, and 3 months of being completely off medicine. And I really am so happy and thankful and grateful for Brian and for the work that he does and just the love that he has for people and showing them that they have other options, that they can feel good just with the right information. And I just feel really blessed to have that opportunity to talk to him about those things going on in my health and my diet, and that he's so knowledgeable and just really helpful and offers you this opportunity to change your life. And that's at least the way I look at it. Because I look at this more than just, I'm off medication. To me, it's a miraculous act. To be able to say, I'm free from all of this. And it's also given me, such a sense of empowerment, too, to know that, doctors couldn't do this. Foods from the grocery store did this. So it's kind of wild, but definitely grateful for it. Thank you.
So, yeah, That really is amazing to me, and Violet said it well enough. So without further ado, so here's what you get, kind of recapping it off, and we'll be done here in a couple slides. So like I said, you get 6 live online trainings where we're going to talk about nutrition, mindset, symptom reversal foods, and creating a nutrition program for life. Okay. I don't know about you, but if you think about it, if you've been struggling for a long time understanding what foods to do and how to do it, and have never really been able to master the recipe, uh, there's not a better feeling of being able to get into the body that you desire, eating the foods that you know are good for you, understanding when you can have foods that you want, pizza, cupcakes, and things like that, and still enjoy your life. I don't know about you, but I've invested well over 100 grand in my education the last year and a half alone. So what we're really offering you is a true golden ticket to show up fully in your life. And we haven't even got to the best part yet. Okay. So you get access to the recordings. You get to receive the Health Eating digital book. The bonus is you'll get 2 free months access. You get our 2 smoothie recipes made for you, and you get a free consultation. Total investment of $1537. But here's the good part. If I was offering this for 768 bucks, could you see why it would be a good deal? That's 50% off. For the general public, we charge $499. But here's what you get. Since you stayed till the end of it, here's what we're offering you. Your enrollment investment is only $244 today before 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And here's what the next thing is. Here's our guarantee to you. If for any reason you are unsatisfied with our product in the first 2 weeks, give us a call, shoot us a message, whatever you choose to do, and you will have your money back. Now, in closing, I'm going to leave you with one story. So currently I invest close to probably $3,000 a month in coaching. I need it. I can't live without it. It allows me to show up and support you at the levels that I do. And here's what my coach told me before I was getting ready to make this investment, 10 grand down and $3,000 a month. I didn't have the money. I didn't know how I was going to create it, but I knew I couldn't live without it. And I knew I needed it to level up and to support my family and to show up fully for my clients. I had to have it. So he goes, Brian, if you focus on the payment, you're never going to receive the payoff. And I sat there for a minute. I was like, it's got a good point. If I sat there and chewed on it and mulled on it and said, I don't know how I'm going to get it. It's $3 grand a month that I'm accountable for, not counting my mortgage, not counting all the other expenses and things that I have going on. But I did it. And when I committed, things changed specifically. And I'm not asking you to invest $3,000. I'm asking you to invest $244. And you're not investing it to me. You're investing it to you through me and allowing me and Chris to support you on your mission to help you out. So hopefully the information that you got tonight was of value to you. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get more in depth. We just kind of whet your palate, so to speak, of what's actually optional and available to you so you can change your life. And I can tell you this much. If you don't feel great, if you can't wake up and say, I love myself every morning and I love what I do, if you don't feel great in your clothes, if you're not connecting in your relationships, then guess what? You owe yourself $244. You deserve it because you're missing out on life. And I don't know about you, but I didn't tell you this story yet. But one day, I was in July, it was last year almost. I was hanging out with my brother when I went down to Houston. Hadn't seen him in probably 4 or 5 years, and I don't really go to Houston that often. So I was able to connect with him and have a breakfast. Having breakfast, I hung out with him for a couple hours and was hanging out with him and his son, and came back home the next day. The next morning, I was working out and training one of my clients, and I get this phone call from my mom, and I didn't pick it up because I was working with my client. And she texted me and says 911. And I was like, all right, I knew something was up. And I had a feeling that someone was going to pass. I just didn't know who about a month before that. Well, lo and behold, I pick up the phone and call my mom. She said, hey, your brother passed away. And still get kind of choked up talking about it. But really the importance of this is like, you don't ever know when it's your turn and when it's your time. So what I'm inviting you to consider is if you're not maximizing every area of your life and your mind, body, and your spirit, or God, family, health, and business, then guess what? It's time to show up. And if you're telling yourself a bunch of shit as to why you're not, and you keep telling yourself stories, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, guess what? Tomorrow may never happen. You could pass tomorrow morning. How are you going to go? Are you going to enjoy it, making the most of it? Or are you going to be telling yourself stories as to why you never stepped up and showed up in your life to show up fully for yourself and for your family and whoever else is in your life? So I'm just going to leave you with that. I love you. I support you, and I vote your victory just like I vote mine. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you on the other side, where we can dive into your 30-minute consultation. And if you're serious and you're enrolling now, then call me. I'll do your consultation tonight because I'm enthusiastic about helping you, about taking you to the next level. So remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. Have an awesome night so much, and thank you for your time, because time is the only resource that you will never get back. Have an awesome night.